Welcome, welcome. I knew as soon as James Gunn decided to announce his upcoming DC slate that I'd have to I'd have to react to it live. Like as when they let go of Henry Cavill, I was super pissed. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because, Henry Cavill had just announced like a couple months before that he was coming back to the role, and then they just pulled the rug out from under him essentially. So I was thinking, okay, whatever James Gunn comes up with will have to be fucking fantastic. It'll have to get like everybody invested like right away, or you're just starting off with like half your fan base because the Snyderverse fans, they're a large portion of the fan base. Let's be real. Like people like to write them off, but like those Blu-rays sold uh, uh really well. So I wanted to get on here and go straight to the source. James Gunn posted the video. Let me share my screen right quick. And there, yeah, Twitter. There. And watch this.
Hey, everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the
Yeah, what up?
co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation.
We want good movies. That's mostly what we care about. It doesn't matter if it's connected or not. Like Joker's a good movie. You got other ones like the Batman is pretty good. Uh, it doesn't matter if it's connected or not. Stop trying to catch up to Marvel.
That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if
You're already starting off in a bad place if you're going to keep Pattinson's Batman, because people will be confused probably. Like you'll have 2, 3 Batman.
Thing is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he...
Yep, very much those in the same universe as Batman and Superman. Like, they made that pretty clear in the first movie, even with Superman showing up at the end in the same costume and everything. It's still connected to the universe that you guys just nixed.
It connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle.
The Flash has been like through a ton of reshoots. Supposedly, Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill Superman and Gal Gadot were all in this movie, and some of them got cut. We don't know how many of them got cut or not. I guess we'll see.
Fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next.
Okay, so the 4 he's talking about. Okay, Shazam, probably not going to do great at the box office. Because people are already saying like, I do not care about this universe anymore, and this is part of that universe because they just destroyed it. Aquaman 2, same thing. Plus, if you got Amber Heard in there, people for sure will not turn up. And then, The Flash, Ezra Miller is a nut job. Like, people are already wanting to boycott that. And then you got Blue Beetle, which most people do not know this character. They've never heard of him. They're just going to see that and be like, what the hell? Is this a superhero movie? What is this? I like Blue Beetle. He's cool. Especially when he's teamed up with Booster Gold, but most people have never heard of him.
That's what I'm going to tell you about now. So Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan.
Who are these writers? I'd like to know who these writers are. Hopefully they got better writers than they have before, unless they just hired some cheap, like they've been doing in other studios, hiring on the cheap.
Of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first
And
chapter
gaming.
is called.
Okay, so they have a game coming out. It's a Suicide Squad game where the Suicide Squad has to destroy the Justice League. It's like the Justice League have gone bad. It's another one of those kind of stories like Injustice, which I think it'd be cool to play as the Suicide Squad. We'll see. I don't know if that's going to be connected to anything going forward. Probably not. Probably another Elseworlds.
Called Gods and Monsters. Now, this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire
Part
first
1,
chapter.
Chapter 1.
The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC.
Okay, I only recognize this character. That's Weasel from Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad that he made. That I don't know if that's Atomic Skull or not. I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't know. I think he likes pulling obscure characters and putting them in his thing. Like that's his shtick. Uh, Polka Dot Man, I thought was done really well in the Suicide Squad. Like that was a character I did not give a shit about until I saw that movie.
Is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, who played.
So TV live action. I had heard she was getting a movie, but I guess it's gonna be a series. Waller is an interesting character, but I don't know. I think she's better served as a secondary character to play off of your more straightforward kind of good guys and the really bad guys. Like, because she's sort of in between. She believes she's doing the right things, but she is doing a lot of bad, in service of quote unquote good. Which
By Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker,
so
and this
so
is
confirmed they're not recasting Viola Davis. So yeah, some of the actors from the other universe are carrying over into this new universe.
a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did
Like,
Watchmen.
I'm just confused. We were told we were getting like a full reboot, but they still have some actors carrying over, apparently.
Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning.
He mentioned Doom Patrol. I heard that was just canceled. I think they're having a fourth season, and it's going to be the last. What else did they cancel? What was the other one? I don't know if Stargirl was canceled or not, but Titans. Yeah, Titans is getting one more season, and then that's going to be it. A lot of people were fans of Doom Patrol. I think more so than Titans, but they were both pretty popular, from what I understand.
Of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy.
Superman Legacy. So he's got a picture from All-Star Superman. I wonder if that's going to be the story or impetus.
Being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025.
Are you going to tell us any more about the story except that he said it's not an origin story, but it is about Superman starting out at the Daily Planet, which kind of sounds like an origin story.
Next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns.
Oh,
this is a story of
this could be good. This could be interesting. Like a buddy cop show between Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. That I would watch.
Couple of Green Lanterns, Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective.
Wait, terrestrial-based? That doesn't sound good. It sounds like they're going to do a low-budget Green Lantern show. Like, if you're doing Green Lanterns, you need to go balls to the wall and have it take place in outer space most of the time. Because they defend the world and other worlds from extraterrestrial threats. You can't have it just be terrestrial. I mean, come on.
With a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters.
What the hell is this? I have never even. I'm a big DC fan, and I have never heard of this. Like, what is this?
We are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television.
So many different looks at superheroes the last few years, just with The Boys and Invincible and Brightburn. That's one of his, by the way. And man, it's just gotten tired. Injustice, like we've deconstructed the heroes so much, it's gotten really, really tired. We just want our straightforward heroes again, like Superman, the classic Superman, like from the '78 movie. Let's continue.
Series called Paradise Lost. Paradise
Oh,
Lost
this I've
is the
heard
story of
about.
paradise.
This okay? They're claiming that this is going to be like Game of Thrones, but with the Themyscirans. Like, can can we stop getting these hero adjacent shows and movies, and just try to get the heroes that people know and love right to begin with?
Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne.
Wait. I like Damien. He's cool. But we haven't even gotten a live action Dick Grayson done right. Like the closest we got, I think, was Titans. But even then, you skipped over all the years of him being Robin to where he's like, "Fuck Batman," and then he becomes Nightwing in like what was it, season 2 or 3? I don't know. But Jesus, how do we skip over all of that to Damien, a guy that nobody's okay? Only if you're like a hardcore DC fan do you know who this character is. You're gonna People are gonna see this and be like, "Is that the same Robin from the '60s show and whatnot? The movie, the Batman and Robin movie?" No, it's not. This is the son that Batman had with Talia al Ghul. Talia freaking drugged him and raped him, and then she had this son, and he was trained by the League of Assassins to be a killer. But then Batman took him under his wing and made him into Robin. He's got kind of a hard edge to him, but he's still a part of the Bat family. I'm just wondering why they're gonna, with their first iteration of Batman in this new universe, they're gonna introduce this character who like nobody has heard about other than hardcore DC fans. That doesn't make sense to me.
This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who.
See, James Gunn just wants to insert everything that he loves into this instead of taking it into account what most the general population loves.
Batman tries to get in line. And so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult.
I love this character. If they do him right, this could be really popular. He appears in Justice League Unlimited and I believe Brave and the Bold too, and in Smallville in one episode. He's a guy from the future who is like down on his luck, and he decides to go back in time and replace Superman as the world's greatest hero. But then things go awry, and he actually ends up joining the Justice League. Stays in present time. I think he's a really cool character. I like him. He's fun. But yeah, I just hope they get good writers for all this stuff. Like they could throw as much as they can at the wall. If they don't have the right people on these projects, they're gonna fail.
heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the
most people have never heard of this character.
Superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a
Woman of Tomorrow.
guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents. Whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing.
We just had a good iteration of Swamp Thing, in my opinion. It had one season and got canceled because it was filmed in Mississippi, and the tax codes, I guess, were they just ran over their budget like too much to where they just decided to cancel it. But I really love this show. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. It was on DC, the DC app, and then after like 13 episodes, it was canceled. So if they're doing a movie, I'd like to see who's writing this.
We're going to talk about a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure.
For the most part, it's not really exciting. The thing I'm most excited about is the probably Swamp Thing. After he said terrestrial, I was excited for the Lantern show, and then he said terrestrial. I'm like, wait, oh, shit. I don't know. I guess we'll see how everything pans out. I'll probably do another video on. There's an article about this too, but for bounding into comics. But that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.